it's very exciting when you see all the results of very expensive studies that back that up. The death of the genetic theory of disease transmission. Again, Leanne, you have to appreciate that over the thousands of years, the halls of science are filled with failed medical theories. Evil spirits, spontaneous generation, the four humors, if they're out of balance, do bloodletting to try and get everything back in balance. The cholesterol thing, cholesterol doesn't cause disease. Cholesterol is an essential nutrient. That whole thing on cholesterol, I spent 35 years, Leanne, looking for the paper that showed that cholesterol was dangerous. I spent 35 years looking for it. Well, I finally found the paper, but what it said was, it was all an advertising campaign. There was no science. There was never any science behind it. Animal fat is the best thing for you. Butter, cream, lard.
Yeah, that's on Time magazine now. Eat more butter. When there was this whole, for over a decade, you know, the anti-fat movement. Now they're like, eat some butter. Oh,
a stick of butter a day keeps the doctor away. Hamburger a day is like a day, you know, a day without a hamburger is like a day without sunshine. A pound of meat a day keeps the doctor away. And these are all failed medical theories, and they've killed millions and millions of people with these failed medical theories because the cancer rate's gone up, the death rate from heart disease has gone up because the medical system and the American Heart Association and Procter & Gamble, who made Crisco, which is originally a machinery oil from factories. Crisco is originally a machine oil. It was never designed to originally be a food. But they bought it and turned it into a food because they said, we can make more money selling it as a food than we could as a machine oil. But it was originally designed as a machine oil by a Nazi sympathizer by the name of Wilhelm Norman. And they said, well, we have to come up with an ad campaign because mothers and grandmothers did not like to use Crisco because they liked lard and butter and cream. And so they went to the American Heart Association and said, look, we'll give you $1.7 million if you endorse Crisco as a healthier fat than beef fat, pork fat, lard, cream, and butter, and eggs. And they did they prostituted themselves for $1.7 million because before that, they were a specialty without a disease because there was no heart disease in America until people started using oils. And then we have heart disease, which are caused by nutritional deficiencies and oils.
Right, and you got to just wonder how much money people were given to, say, artificial sweeteners are better, you know, than pure cane sugar or something like that, or high fructose corn syrup. It's fine. Here, use corn and everything.
Well, it's all driven by money. No doubt about it. It's not driven by science and health. And as you say, it's on the cover of Time magazine, a big chunk of butter, as saying, eat more butter is now known to be healthier than vegetable oils. Just the opposite of what doctors have been saying for 80 years. Somebody needs to go to jail here, Leanne.
Right, exactly. And who is behind all of this? And now why the sudden push? Because they're certainly not trying to all of a sudden
be nicey nice,
make everyone healthy and do away with the healthcare industry.
I think what's happened is, and I may be sort of bragging on myself too much, but for 35 years I've been hammering on them with the Dead Doctors Don't Lie books and things. And I imagine they went and looked and did the studies to try and refute what I was beating up on them with the Dead Doctors Don't Lie concept. And they said, oh my gosh, Wallach's right. Well, I actually published that in 1971. I compared the percentage of blockage in coronary arteries and heart arteries in vegetarians, vegans, and meat eaters. I used special stains to show saturated fat, cholesterol in the arteries and so forth. Published it in an international pathology journal in Acta Pathologica, which is from Denmark, back in 1971. And guess who had the worst plugged arteries? Vegans.
Really?
Vegetarians that don't eat any animal, don't even eat eggs or dairy, vegans. And that's because they eat stored grains. What happens to the wheat germ oil when you store it for a year? It oxidizes and turns into trans fatty acids, blocks your arteries with inflammation, causes cancer. And then they stir fry everything in extra, 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 virgin olive oil and coconut oil, and cause cancer and plug your arteries. Yeah.
Trendier the more
exactly.
Extra virgin.
Exactly. And well, that's the problem. And so they've actually killed more people than the Nazis did during the Second World War with these vegetable oils. Absolutely criminal.
Yeah, and I was actually just reading today that it's the oils and the wheats and these toxins in the food that causes all this disease in the gut. And that, again, going back to Hippocrates, that's where the disease all begins, and we have all of these.
It always begins in the colon.
Right.
Okay, and that's where the gluten intolerance comes in, because
Exactly.
it's all in the intestines and the colon. And again, the story of all these things is in the book Epigenetics, so that people get the history. You have to understand the progression. And again, the halls of science, Leanne, are filled with failed, thousands and thousands of failed medical theories. And the cholesterol one is just another one.
Well, you break it all down in this book, and it's, I mean, the way you explain it is all so simple. Seems like it would be such a simple fix.
Well,
Here we've done a lot of damage, but we really can turn it all around.
It is a simple fix, and of course, it was designed to be an ad campaign. The Procter & Gamble paid the American Heart Association $1.7 million to endorse Crisco as a healthier cooking shortening than butter and cream and lard that people have been using for thousands of years.
Exactly.
There was never any science. There was never, I looked for it for 35 years, and I couldn't figure out, why couldn't I find the science? Because it was an ad campaign. We finally figured it out.